Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Outback Gamer, and this is Outback Gamer's Weekly Roundup. So this week we're going to focus on talking about one of the games that I enjoy the most at the moment, which is this one, Hell Let Loose. Hell Let Loose is a World War II shooter game where the battlefield is a little bit different than you would expect. Now, since I'm playing from Australia, you first have to fix up your ping. So choose a server with decent ping for you to join. And the lower the ping is always the better, obviously. So I've joined the official server here because it had actually room left on it. Omaha Beach is quite a great map, actually. In this game, there's two types of modes as well. You've got Warfare and Offensive. Now, Warfare is your standard, each team owns half the map and you're fighting over no man's land in the middle. Defensive is where you have to assault bases, and you have to take two, and you have half an hour to take two bases at a time. In this one, you only have to take one map. So here we're selecting what faction we're going to be. Germany is of course defending the beach, and there's more players on America than Germany. Now I'll pause here for time to explain some of these things to you guys. So I'm going to pick, of course, Germany, because it's the only place I've got. Now, here on this screen you will see that there's three types of units. Well, four if you include command. But you've got infantry, you've got armor, and you've got recon. Now, infantry squads are 1 to 7 people. Now, as you can see, all these squads are all full. I was at 1 to 6 at the moment. I can't quite tell. But you choose a squad that you're going to join. And then, if they're locked, you may have to ask for permission. If there's no squads for you to join, you will have to create a squad. Creating a squad means that you are an officer and you're in command of the squad. It gives you contact with the other officers through holding X on your keyboard. C talks to your squad, and V talks to all the soldiers in your proximity, which is quite good. As you can see, a lot of players were waiting for a person to make officer, because officer is definitely not the most desired job, but I've leveled one up pretty well. Now, Recon's actually pretty good as well. You have one officer who builds their OPs and one sniper. Armor, you have a tank commander and 2 crewmen available. But with infantry, you've got your officer and multiple different types of infantry roles. As you can see, I've spawned and I see an ally straight away pushing our point. So I cracked him in the back. Now, you'll see garrisons, which are the circle bases. Any person in the entire map can spawn in a garrison. Most of the time there isn't not that many garrisons on a map. Garrisons require players to work together to build through supplies. Now this game can be a bit of a death simulator, which I'm about to show here. You can just literally spawn and die multiple times as you're playing. It can be frustrating, but it's so rewarding because of the realism behind it. I actually enjoyed this moment. We shot each other. It was like really, really great.
About 1 kill.
So that's the commander. Now the commander is always in yellow when he's talking to these officers. Now the commander can, as we've said before, drop supplies, or he can work with squads who have these support roles to have enough supplies on the map to build the garrisons that the whole team can spawn in.
Running bombing run on that eastern side of the draw.
The commander can also do strafing runs, recon runs, and bombing runs.
That's the right side of it, I should say.
All of them are very powerful things. He can also spawn tanks and vehicles for the players to use. Now that was just me flanking the guy at the bar gun who shot me up earlier, and I got shot for my reward for that. Now we're just holding the beach. I did shoot someone coming out of those ruins, but I really wanted to pause here just to show the dramatic effect of what the beach looks like. Now landing on the beach is really, really a foobar moment. if you're America and you're pushing that beach to the front, it is quite dangerous. It's hilariously painful. So there's only 1 point for the Americans to take on this map because it's so aggressive and hard to push, and then they move forward. But have a look at that. It's just, the graphics in this game are outstanding. Now, red signifies that's another squad leader who can talk to us. Now, I'm seeing people move out there, but I just wanted to show that you can interact with the buildings. You can go inside them. Now, your main role as an officer is to build OPs, which I showed before when I spawned. Oh, and I got a bunch of random achievements that, for some reason, just clicked in today. They must have just added them not long ago. But the officer's job is to build OPs for their squad to spawn at. Now, outposts are only for the people who've joined your squad. but they can spawn at them within 10 seconds of them being placed and constantly, whereas I think it's a 30-second cooldown to spawn at a garrison. As we mentioned before, garrisons take effort and teamwork to build, whereas your squad leader can just keep you going by supplying OPs. Now, you get hurt by jumping over water or jumping down buildings, and then you'll need to bandage or you'll bleed.
Wait, J squad right in front of you is going in the trench.
To build an OP as an officer, you just go to the stopwatch and you hold right click and then left click. That was me just popping around.
73 because it's easier to defend them in 70. When 70 is getting taken.
I'm just showing how good the tanks look like when they're getting destroyed there. That was an amazing graphic, right? Now, I'm fairly sure we also have a bombing run in the distance. I didn't actually get pulled in one. Here we go. This is what a bombing run looks like. How impressive, like, and it's absolutely ear-shattering for those caught in it. I was just getting cracked randomly. The guy didn't manage to land a killing blow, unfortunately for him. But I did see them pop over there, and then I got my just rewards as something automatic, ripped me apart. Now, in the squad roles, you've got machine guns, you've got squad automatic weapon, you've got engineers who can build nodes. Nodes are very important for officers and for the command. Now, the support, as I mentioned, drops supplies that the engineer can then use to build what's called nodes, manpower and ammunition nodes, which then the commander uses for resources for the bombing runs, strafing runs,
I'm just gonna run recon and all.
Or even doing an airhead, which is making a random spawn in enemy territory, which is really useful.
Yeah,
here I'm
so much
around
only
the flank, and I'm just trying to keep the area secure. Now, the primary objective of winning an offense map, if you're defending, is to allow the
if I do it, I'm going to kill friendlies.
The squad only gets half an hour, well, the assaulting team only gets half an hour.
Tell everyone to stand back? Yeah, okay, that should be good. Tell everyone to be careful.
Bases in that time, you win.
So, look at that
it's in your best interest to make sure that they don't flank you and they don't get around your sides too hard.
Got the source of the infection.
So, as you can see, it's a free-for-all out there. Plenty of targets of opportunity. Now, I did actually quite well this map. I want to note too that it's a really handy tip for new players is to turn up your ally spotting. So those
they're running recon, so there's a good chance they're going to do a bombing run as well.
Very important that you turn that up so you can see that a bit further. Otherwise, you'll be shooting trenches a lot, like we did when we started playing. Also, some rifles.
I killed a friendly G. Be careful, guys. Be careful.
Which is really, really useful. Snipers, which are part of the recon extra man. He can hold shift to stabilize.
Wow, killed about 4 of them.
This poor guy
can we get someone push in or flank around and get rid of that guy?
For a decent shot because these guys don't know I'm here.
I know it's not easy. Marked on the map.
But this game is immensely enjoyable due to the amount of teamwork it requires, the realism in the shooting, and just how good most of the scenes actually look like.
Garrison in H6 is very hot, guys.
Now,
and there's their bombing run. That's right. They're not going to have anyone to push in now.
More like this, where teamwork was really necessary and the command role was very important. I can literally check my map at any point like this when the commander runs a recon and I'll see where all the enemies are. Now, I just spawned. If you notice, when I spawned, my OP was lit up red.
Okay, so that means once we get down to about a minute, they're going to have another bombing run,
Now, if he got too close to my OP, he would have destroyed it. But he didn't see it and he ran past and he got popped for his mistake of not spotting it. So here we've got just another one of those running, and this is why the carbine, even though you can't zoom with it, this is why the carbine is a immensely handy weapon, because you can definitely crack more than your opponent. So here's a good look at some of the tanks on the German side.
Okay, so they're camping Westville.
Iconic Panther and Tiger.
Legend, thank you.
And they really do look amazing. Oh, here's what the OPs look like that the officers build. It's great. Oh, also back there was also the rear end of the Sherman, and me marking it for my team to see. So that was a Panther, obviously. He swerved to miss me. Good on him. Great guy. And that's a Tiger that was hunting this guy. Now, I knew he was hunting that guy because I could see where his barrel was looking. Now, driving a tank is actually really, really hard. You need a driver who can only see and only drive the tank. You need a gunner who can only sit in the tank barrel.
Can't they only keep
and
pushing if they've
you need a spotter who can get up in a little periscope and look around the tank and spot enemies, because turning the tank is immensely slow and realistic. All of this is realistic. I want to mention that in World War II, scopes were very, very rare, so it's great to see a game where iron sights are the go, like it was.
If they got nodes that are generating manpower, it will continue while those nodes generate manpower.
100-man a map game. There's only 4 people on a map that can have a scope, and that's really realistic. making them very powerful. So here, as you can hear, it's 20 seconds to win. We've held them off for 30 minutes.
Nice work, guys. Good stuff.
And I'm congratulating my squad, telling them what a good job they did. These graphics are just outstanding. This game just draws me again and again and again, and I've never not enjoyed a match, even when I'm getting flogged or, as they say, death simulated. So we've won. Now you get awarded some XP. Now, this is an important thing. Make sure you put a commendation on someone who you enjoyed in your squad. It gives them 10% extra XP for each commendation they get, and generally the rule of thumb is you always give it to your lowest person. Here's a quick look at my stats. And this is one final look. That is what you got to do as an officer. Just move out and drop an OP for your team to spawn at. Very important. Very important in this game. It allows your team to spawn. So this is the other game I wanted to talk about. I've been spending the last week on this game. This is Final Fantasy XIV Online. I've placed a recommendation or a review for it out there, but I can't specify how much I enjoyed this game. It's refreshing. The lack of mods, as you can see, is great. You can only place the bars that you've got. You can customize it however you want. This is a dungeon, so as you can tell, this is what it looks like when you're playing with your friends and killing bosses and having fun in general. The graphics are outstanding, like they really go in. We recently realized that you had to go in and change your refresh rates and things, make it borderless to improve your footage. There's all sorts of things, but once you go in and really fine-tune your settings, you'll have this game running so pretty that you'll wonder why you never gave it a shot before. The pulls are pretty simple. I'm currently playing a summoner. However, this class splits into two, the scholar and the healer. The cutscenes in this game and the storyline do ramp up. Now, you can pretty much level your character all the way to max level through the main storyline. Pretty much. At 20, you're supposed to get your mount, but you're going to level way before that before you get your mount. At 30, your mount can become a combat companion and help you fighting, which is really handy for you caster types out there. Now, your mount can be leveled 3 ways, healer, DPS, or tank. Now, I'm guessing for most casters and for most healers, they're probably going to level them as a tank. But I can imagine someone wanting them to be DPS. Now, I actually got locked out there because I watched the cutscene and there was 15 seconds to the room closed, but thank God, because I watched the cutscene, it didn't punish me and let me in. This fight felt so goddamn good. This was exactly the kind of mechanics that you're looking forward to in dungeons. And they've got another system called Trials too, where you literally spawn in and fight one boss, and they literally feel like a raid boss. They're very fun, very enjoyable, and very situational. Now, unfortunately, since I'm Australian, I'm playing on the honorary Australian server, which is called Tornberry. My ping isn't amazing, but what I do is I have a VPN. I'm through private internet access, and I set my VPN to Japan, and it nearly halves my ping in my latency, which is great. Speeds me up and gets me right into the action. Very, very worth it. Some people recommend Mudfish, depending on how you want to work out your ping. That's all up to you. Mudfish is immensely cheap, apparently. So this boss was very enjoyable. I actually really enjoyed this guy. Now, if I had to recommend this game, I'm now only level 50. I didn't play yesterday or today. Today's maintenance. I intend to get into this here not long after this video drops here in an hour. So hopefully I can get a few more levels. I'm going to push main storyline pretty hard and unlock flying, because now that I'm level 50, I should have a flying mount. So if I just push that storyline along my company Chookaboo, should be able to fly, and it'll be really enjoyable. As you can see, like, this is cinematic of pretty much any MMO dungeon you've ever done. This is exactly what you're jonesing most of the time. It's just really pretty, like immensely pretty. There I thought, oh no, I fell into the stuff and was starting to get hurt. Now, I actually really enjoyed it. At 35 or 40, I can't really remember. One of those levels, maybe level 30. You unlock 2 soul stones. One allows you to be healer with this class, which is the Arcanist. One allows you to be a healer, and the other one allows you to be a DPS. Scholar healers are fantastic, I have to admit it. They get a little fairy, which looks so pretty. And the little fairy does most of the top-up healing for you, and it's a bit like the Necromancer pet out of ESO and that, where they just constantly top players up and constantly casting heal spells. Really good stuff. Depending on which of the two fairies you have, you'll also be able to use their creature ability. Each dungeon makes you feel really, really good at the end too, with a little dance and a bit of a cinematic of killing it. Duty complete! Yay! See? Little dance. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier, the trial system. It lets you jump in and attempt a boss. Now, because trials are really, really hard, especially with bad latency, you can wipe multiple times on trial and then you get an increased chance of beating it each time you wipe. Now, that's only because you have to beat a trial in the storyline. Now, you can actually take these trials on at a harder level, which gives XP and loot. But as you can see, the music for this is fantastic. It's just all around a really good experience. Let you guys listen to that music for a sec. With over 20 million players at this current time, this game is probably one of the more popular and the most for you to try. Now, most people won't give this game a try based on the fact that, oh, Final Fantasy, I'm not much of a fan of the genre. Fair enough, no problem. But I actually stood too far in the red there, and I got punished for it. I wasn't too sure how far off we were. We wiped soon after that, actually. It's very, very unfortunate for me. Now, just because you're not a fan of the Final Fantasy genre, it doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy this game. This game is not any Final Fantasy that you're used to, and it doesn't make you be a fan of the genre at all. You could just like MMOs, WoW-like MMOs, anytime you want. Well, thank you so much for listening to my weekly roundup, and I hope to see you guys later. Have a good one.